So the first video that I kind of wanted to jump back in and get things rolling with is my Accutane story, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. So I have talked about it before on my blog. I've also done Instagram stories about it, but I just wanted like a one place where you guys could just kind of refer back to, so I felt that making a YouTube video about it would be really good. The like button and the subscribe button, and yeah, let's get started. So I started breaking out in mainly about 3rd grade. The get-go, my acne was always very cystic. It was red, it was blotchy, it was very painful. Noticed my first like noticeable pimple when I was on vacation, and I just remember her saying, "We'll just go get you Neutrogena, it'll clear up." This used to happen to me. Reassuring things like that. We went and we got the Neutrogena Clears, I don't know what it's called actually because I haven't used it since that one time, but I got the cleanser and I got their spot treatment. So I was washing my face with that, and then I was using the spot treatment while I was on vacation, and the pimple just didn't go away. It was just like getting more. If anything, like I was actually breaking out even more. So it was like I kind of like was like, why is this happening? Like I didn't really understand what was going on because I hadn't hit puberty yet. I just happened to be breaking out. That was the other thing, is that I was just breaking out. I wasn't hitting puberty. So I went back home and I visited the doctor. I went to the dermatologist, and I was always somebody who was going to the skin doctor. I always had skin problems. Like growing up, I had very dry skin. So when I went to the doctor's office, he taught me how to take care of that. So he wasn't really much of a stranger. And anytime I would go away on vacation, like I would always come back with some kind of rash as a child. So yeah, the point is I'm not really a stranger to the dermatologist. So when I went in, they told my mom it was acne, and I was starting to kind of like get towards puberty. And my mom was kind of like, she's a little young for that, you know, what do we do? I don't want her to start off on like very strong medication. And at the time, like my mom was making more of the decisions. I didn't really know what was going on. And I thought, again, it was something that would just pass because everybody was telling me that. It was something that'll pass. Obviously, people couldn't be more wrong. But that was the start of probably like, you know, every visit that I would go to the dermatologist for about 10 or more years. I was going to the doctor's office every 3 months. Every time I could get an appointment, I was going to the dermatologist's office. I was on every topical ointment you could give somebody at that age for acne, if that makes sense. So I was on Sienna. I was on, which I'm sure these ointments have different names now. I'm sure like things have changed, but I was taking benzoyl peroxide. Like she would give that to me to use in the morning, and at night I would have to use something else that would peel my skin essentially. So eventually she started prescribing me pills. I was on Doxy for a little bit, and I decided I didn't like it. It just wasn't like I was going through, at this time I had hit puberty, so I was going through a lot with my body anyways. And Doxy was not good for me. I know some people have taken it and like they had good results, but realistically I couldn't be on Doxy for the rest of my life. I mean, like, no, absolutely not. So I stopped it. I wasn't given minocycline yet. My other doctor decided to give me that, but I'm gonna get to that later. So we decided to just keep on using the topical ointments, and you know, just waiting and seeing how it goes, especially this area. Inside my nose I would get pimples. Like it would be hard. Like if I had a stuffy nose and I was trying to blow my nose, it was so painful, like so painful. And it started feeling like nothing was going to help. And like as a young adolescent girl, teenage girl, I'm going to school and I'm seeing like everybody not go through this, and if they did have acne, I just felt like mine was worse than everybody else's. I just feel like, and that's like a personal thing too, I think, you know, when something is on your face or something that is big, like so people can see it, I feel like you think it's worse than it actually is. But for me, I just felt like, you know, it wasn't good. It just wasn't good. Having to see other girls not go through the same thing that you're going through, and, you know, seeing that other guys are like into girls, and like, you know, just seeing like people would constantly make comments about my face. Like, if it wasn't my family, it was people at school. So people at school would be like, oh, your skin looks really good today. What are you doing that's different? And then other people would be like, oh, like, you know, my blah 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 mentioned that they're using this new like system that takes care of acne. You should try it. I would get bullied a lot. I remember some boys on the bus were saying that like my skin was, that I need to go on Proactive because my skin was bad and it was blotchy. And that's like the first thing, you know, if I ever like got into something with anybody, which I never really did, but that would be the first thing that somebody would go after, is my skin. And it's because they knew that it hurts me and it bothers me, and it always has bothered me. So at school, that's what it was like. With family, I would go to like family things, and I would always get people commenting on my skin and telling me that like, you know, I should try doing this, and I should stop touching my face, and I should stop eating like certain meats, and I should, you know, eat less chocolate. Doesn't cause acne, by the way. That's a myth. School, I would get comments like, oh, your skin looks really good today. Like, I barely know you, so like, why are you even like saying things like that? Like doing a damper on my self-confidence. I was very like, there were some days it was just like, you know, I have to go to school like this, and it would just be the only thing on my mind. Yeah, so it was really tough. It was very tough. And Accutane at that time was still like taboo, I want to say. So I didn't even consider it. I didn't want to go on it because I knew that like, I heard it had a lot of side effects. Also, the media was really hyping it up at that time and saying that like it was bad for you and that you couldn't have kids if you take it. So throughout this whole time in middle school and high school, I started going on YouTube more, and I started really like trying to teach myself how to do makeup and how to cover acne spots and how to cover dark spots and any texture and things like that. So that's really what I did in my free time. Honestly, I would just be on my iPod at the time and just be like looking up like videos on how to do things, but it was very hard because there weren't a lot of like brown skin bloggers. And when I just feel like it is different when, you know, somebody of Caucasian skin tone has acne, and I just feel like when their acne heals, it looks different on their skin, and when my acne heals, it looks different on my skin, and so on and so forth. So I feel like for me, I really needed to see a brown girl learn how to like show people how to cover up her acne, and that's what YouTube was lacking at the time. So I kind of again was on my own. So about a year after I had graduated high school, during that year, I noticed that my skin was kind of like leveling off. It wasn't breaking out as badly as I had been when I was younger. So I just assumed, you know, maybe the medicine's finally working, blah, blah, blah. And then, then it was just really like, it started getting worse again, basically, is what happened. And I also had met somebody who had just gone through the Accutane process. So I was talking to her about it, and I was like, can you like have kids? And like asking her about all the myths and everything, and she really cleared it up for me. She said the worst part about it was having to go in and get your blood drawn every month. And at that point, I decided to switch my doctor and actually to go to hers. And it worked out because they were taking my insurance. I know that doesn't always happen to everybody. Like, you have to go to where your insurance is accepted, but they were taking my insurance, so I made an appointment and I went, and that literally like changed my life. Like, just by switching my doctor, I had changed my life so much. So I made an appointment with the doctor, and I walked in, and the first thing I said to him was, I want to go in Accutane. So he was like, okay, let's talk about it. So he broke it down for me, debunked every question and myth that I had about it. He told me what it was, what I had to do, about the blood tests, and like he also stressed the importance of being pregnant or getting pregnant while taking while taking Accutane. So like I was saying, as a woman or a girl, if you do decide to go on Accutane, you have to be put on birth control or some kind of form of birth control, just so that there are two types basically. You have to have a primary form and a secondary form. And I know some people are like totally against this. I don't really know how that works out if you refuse to take the pill. To be honest, I decided to go on it because I heard that the pill helps with your skin, and I talked to my OB about it too. So she's the one that put me on it initially. She was like, try it out, see if you like it. You don't have to take it if you don't want to. So I went on it. At that point again, I was starting college, or I was already in my first year. I can't really remember. But I was on the lowest form of birth control of the pill. Lowest dosage, really, really, like, it wasn't gonna really harm me or, like, do anything to me. And I still take it till this day because it has helped so much with my skin. So I know this is pretty relevant given last week's Supreme Court decision. So I wanted to make sure I talk about it in this video, that birth control is for other things, not just for not having babies. But anyways, I started birth control a month before I decided to take Accutane for good. I wanted to see if it actually was going to do anything, and it did. It cleared up my skin to the point where my dermatologist saw me and he was like, do you still want to take Accutane? Like, you don't have to. He's like, it's doing a good job. But realistically, at some point, I'm not going to be able to take birth control. So, like, because I'm going to want to have kids in the future. So I decided to go on Accutane because he told me it would really eliminate the issue. So I went on it and I got my blood work done. I signed the iPledge. iPledge essentially is the online platform for Accutane. Basically, you have a certain amount of questions every month, and you have to make sure you complete those questions. They give you a pamphlet. You have to sign it. It's like a contract, essentially, what it is. It's a contract. So you have to make sure you are being safe while being on this pill because it is a very heavy drug. Side effects wise, he had mentioned to me that dry lips will occur, your skin is going to get very dry, and that is what happened in the 5 months that I took it. The oils in my skin they just stopped. Like, it was so dry that the winter was pretty tough because my skin was very dry. So your skin will get dry, your lips will get dry. Hair fallout is also very common. I wasn't losing like chunks of hair, but my hair started to get a little bit like, it wasn't the same thickness it was when I started going on the pill. So that happened to me. The thing that they also want to make very apparent is that if you are having depression or suicidal thoughts, you need to call your doctor right away and make sure they stop taking the pill, because that can worsen by taking Accutane. For me, that was not an issue, and I personally don't know anybody who has gone through that while not taking on the pill. But yeah, that's the other big thing. The question that I had, and was kind of like, the decision maker for me, was whether or not I'd be able to have children like after taking Accutane. And he said that's a myth. And it is a myth. People in the world who went through it and who took the Accutane for the 6-month course or 5-month course and are still able to have children. So with that being said, I went on Accutane for 5 months. My skin was like, it was perfect. It was perfect. My skin usually used to get very oily and very like, to the point where I could like squeeze my skin, like squeeze it and see all the oils come out. But this didn't happen. Like, my skin was so dry. It was nice, and it was also like very like weird to see my skin go through what it was and now to what it is now. every month I had to go in for a blood test. The blood test is to make sure that that everything is safe, your body is processing the pill as it should, and to also check to see if you are pregnant. Again, like I said, if you do get pregnant while taking Accutane, you do have to have an abortion. There's no question about it. You sign this contract, the I pledge, making sure you understand that. So the other question that I get a lot is how the blood work went, and I'm actually not, I think I got more used to needles doing that than I ever did, and I think it was a good thing for me, because I used to like dread having to go in and get shots done or like any kind of blood work done, but it helped me get used to that fear, and it wasn't the worst experience ever, actually. Like, I mean, no one likes to go in and have to get blood taken, but it really wasn't that bad. Honestly, like, I went on it for 5 months and it was the best thing that ever happened to me. My skin never looked that gorgeous in my life. I used to see, like, I'm gonna see if I can find like other pictures to put in while I'm like doing this, editing the video, but I would see like the transformation. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I couldn't believe how smooth my skin is, and even today, like, I never saw myself having this kind of skin. And for me, that's a big thing, because again, this really like affected my self-esteem growing up. I like never had the best confidence, and I still kind of struggle with that today, I'm not gonna lie, but like it's literally has transformed my life, and I do not regret it whatsoever. My advice to anybody who is considering taking Accutane is to just talk to your doctor about it. That was what I did, and it was the best decision that I have ever made. And make sure that your doctor is somebody you can trust. If you're considering doing this and you don't have that trust with your doctor, I'd maybe consider switching, because that's what I did and it worked out for me. And my other advice is that if you have family who is a little bit concerned about you taking it, just talk to them. Like, that's what I did with my parents. My parents were actually like very on board with me going on it. They saw what I went through as a child and as an adolescent, and they were fully supportive. I didn't have any struggles there, but I know there are some people that do. So if your parents are concerned for whatever reason, maybe just take them to the doctor's appointment. Maybe have the doctor talk to them and calm their nerves. I don't know how you can't trust somebody who's gone to medical school and who knows what they're doing. So yeah, that's my advice with that. The other thing is that my brother actually went on it, and after seeing the results on my face, my brother decided to do it, and his skin is really good too. Like, he's not going to come on here to show you guys, but if anybody like knows my brother, like, we both got really good results from taking Accutane, from being on it. So we don't regret it, and I just hope that this video has eased some of those nerves. So I was kind of like jumping around a little bit in the video, so if I didn't cover something that you want to see or you have a question about, feel free to comment below and I will get to it. Or if you want to send me a DM on Instagram, my Instagram is @AlyssaMongru. So yeah, you can just send me a DM, and it's completely anonymous. I never, like, if anybody ever has a question, I never disclose that information to anybody, because I know how personal that is. So if you just want to chat about, like, what you went through growing up with acne, I'm also here for that. So yeah, I just hope that this was informative, and I hope that I really helped somebody in making their decision. Whether or not you decide to go on it, that is your choice. At the end of the day, you're the one who knows what's best for you, and for me, the best thing was going on Accutane, and again, I don't regret it. So thank you guys again for watching, and feel free to give this video a thumbs up.